What is up, you guys? This is All Day Any Day One on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Assassin's Creed Odyssey build video. And with this build video, it's going to be another level 70 updated build. So this build is the tank build. I've already previously made one for those of you that were level 50 and 40 or 30 or whatever, once you got this full set. But now that we're level 70, we should have about 99 ability points, so it's going to really make a difference. Now with the gear, it's pretty much the same as well as the weapons, but with the gear we're just going to go over it. The headpiece I put sword damage because I'm mainly using the sword. I don't really use my staff, or I mean my spear at all. I just use the spear for the perks on it. And then the arms, I have 15% melee resistance, which is going to help a lot. And I would highly recommend putting as much resistance as you can with this build, so that way you can take very little damage, even against elites and bounties or mercenaries or whatever. It's going to help you a lot. And then I put the legendary perk for the 2% damage dealt restored as health, just because of the fact that it's going to be really useful for you, because you won't take a lot of damage. You'll basically be able to keep yourself at full health without having to use the healing ability. Only time you would really use the healing ability or second life is just to rinse off the poison or fire, or if you are end up getting at like half health somehow if you get hit really hard, then having that second life is going to help. But this 2% damage dealt restored as health is really useful. And then with Hippolyta's belt, it has a 20% chance to ignore half damage, which I put a 20% chance to ignore half damage so I can ignore more damage, have more chances of ignoring damage. And then for the boots, I just put the 4% to all damage, just because I'm not using poison or fire, so I'm not going to be needing the poison intoxicated damage and armor penetration whatever increase, or the burning rate. I don't need any of those. And then for the bow, I put 30% damage while full health. Like I said, you're going to basically be able to keep yourself at full health at all times, pretty much. So having that extra 30% damage while full health is going to help a lot. Now, if you don't have the 30% damage while full health, then I would recommend getting the at least the the elite and boss damage, the 25% elite and boss damage engraved on your weapon. And then for the Sword of Damocles, I put the 30% armor penetration, just so I can do more damage anyways without needing the poison. And then for the Staff of Hermes Trismegistus, I put the 20% health and armor that you get from killing the, what was his name, Stirrups, the elite, the boss, the Cyclops boss, last legendary mythical boss that we had to fight. I put that on there. Plus, with the Staff of Hermes Trismegistus, you get 28% chance to ignore half damage as well. And this is the only weapon that, this is literally the only weapon that can actually have the a chance to ignore half damage. And then you also get a low chance to gain a 30% health shield when you're hit. Now with my abilities, as you can see, I did not try to get as many abilities as possible. I just went with the ones that I thought was the most important. So I maxed out both of these perks, the Gear Master and Weapons Master, as well as Shadow Assassin. The reason why I maxed out Shadow Assassin is just so I get that 50% extra buff, or the crit damage. And then for Weapons Master, just so I get 10% crit chance and 40% more warrior damage. Gear Master, because you're going to need the extra, that's 90% extra armor you're getting, and you're reducing ranged damage by 10% as well as having a 10% chance to stagger the enemy when they hit you. I only put 1 point into overpower abilities, because, I mean, you can use your overpower abilities whenever you want, but I try not to use it as, I don't rely on it, basically. But if you do end up getting this maxed out, which if you had extra ability points, then you're going to be doing even more damage. And then Battlecry of Ares I have maxed out. The Ring of Chaos and Shield Breaker I would highly recommend having as well for the getting them maxed out. And then it's up to you if you want to have Second Wind or not. I chose to use it, or to have it just in case I end up taking way too much damage, more than I can handle. You know, then having Second Wind is going to be useful, especially if you have like 4 mercenaries hitting you all at once, throwing fire bombs and poison grenades at you and hitting you with heavy attacks. You're going to need that Second Wind for sure. Now for my mastery levels, I put only 5 out of 20 on ranged resistance in the hunter tree, and then that's it in the hunter tree. In the warrior tree, I didn't put anything other than 13 out of 20 for the armor, so I can at least have 50% total armor, 9 out of 20 for melee resistance, so that way I can have pretty close to 10%. This is technically would count as 10%. And then I didn't put anything to armor penetration because I maxed the armor penetration out earlier, and it is only 10% armor penetration. I mean, 10% is still pretty good, but it's not good enough for me. And then the damage per enemy engaged is really good, especially for a tank build, because of the fact that you're getting 18% increase in damage when you have up to 5 enemies around you. Now if it's just one enemy, it's going to be, wait, no, not 5, it's more. My bad, my math is really wrong. But you're getting 3.6% damage per enemy, and then it stacks up to 18% damage in total. And then I also got damage dealt restored as health, again up to 2.1%, so I'm looking at around 4% healing basically per hit or per damage I deal, so I'm able to keep myself pretty well sustained. And then for the assassin tree, I got 20% chance to ignore half damage, fully maxed, and then 5 out of 20 for adrenaline per hit, 12.6%. And normally I would go with 10 out of 20, but with the tank build, I'm not too worried about my adrenaline. If you're using a warrior build or a hunter build, having at least 10 out of 20 is definitely going to be the best route, because you're looking at 20% or over 20% adrenaline per hit. But with this, I mean, you're already using the Sword of Damocles anyway, so you're going to be getting 22.6% adrenaline per hit. And then I have 14.4% damage on elites and bosses. So you want to have that 10 out of 20. Just because your damage isn't going to be the greatest at all. Especially with no, without any like flaming attacks or poison attacks. You're going to need the extra elite damage and boss damage for sure. And I'm going to show you the stats that I have. So I'm at almost 200% warrior damage. I just need to max out my gloves and then I'll be over 200%. I think I'll be at 201% warrior damage. And then the swords, damage with swords is at 12%. Crit chance is 22%. And crit damage is at 100%. That's for full health and low health. I'm not too worried about those anyways, because those just mainly were not my main priority. Elemental, I don't have anything in it because that's not something I was focusing on, but my defensive modifiers is what I was focusing on. So 32% health bonus, and then armor bonus is at 202%, melee resistance 76%, 43% range resistance, 44% elemental resistance, and 96% chance to ignore half damage. And then I'm at 23% adrenaline per hit, 40% adrenaline per crit, and the others don't really matter because I'm not going to go for headshot kills or assassination kills. And then for the the extra ability points you may end up getting whenever you level up further on, what I would highly recommend is for sure I wouldn't worry too much about getting the range resistance maxed out right away, but I would recommend trying to get your health at least at 10 out of 20, and then increasing or getting the melee resistance maxed out, as well as the elemental resistance. I would highly recommend getting the elemental resistance at least 10 out of 20, and then the whatever you have left I would just put into extra damage, like damage while full health, crit chance while full health, crit damage while full health, crit chance, crit damage, and then damage with swords, warrior damage. Those are the ones I would highly recommend going with whenever you do end up getting all of the defensive perks for this tank build. But that's pretty much it with this build. There's pretty much nothing else. If this helped you at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section, and I will try my best to answer them. And I will also be posting a gameplay video clip right after this. So that's basically it. If this helps you out, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is all day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and enjoy the rest of the clip.
Pull the brazier!